Yes, indeed. Welcome back, everybody. So, Kenya is attempting for the third time around to stop using paper bags. We are actually doing very well, but there's a lot of controversy surrounding that, obviously, and I'm sure that NEMA will give us all the information and disseminate the information that's necessary. But one thing that I know for a fact is you should not be arrested for using paper bags. And I think there's that misconception. Who thought that they'd be arrested if they walked around with a paper? Bobo. Wambo, no, okay, so listen, you shouldn't be arrested. NEMA officers and the police are on the ground to help and guide you and give you the right information. And I know that also NEMA has released different spots where you can drop off paper bags that you've been hoarding in your home. We will, of course, go ahead and give you that information on our social media platforms. Without further ado, one man who has been working very, very hard way before the plastic ban came along is David. And David is behind Green Kenya, an initiative that seeks to change the mentality of young people in this country when it comes to environment awareness and, of course, keeping the city clean. Welcome him, everybody. David, come out here. Hi, David.
Hi.
How are you?
Fine, thank you.
How's it going?
Good.
Pleasure. Have a seat.
Thanks.
David, do you have a paper bag full of, a drawer full of paper bags like DJ Ian?
No. I think I threw them.
Okay.
I used to keep them in the under
that sink,
board.
under the sink actually, is where we all keep all our crap, yeah.
But since that day, I just said, okay, I want to do away with them and then just make sure that I follow the rules and...
It's working. Imagine it's working.
Yeah.
My life is just going on fine without paper bags. I didn't think I could live without them. All right. Green Kenya is a great initiative. You've been doing that for a while. Tell us what it is.
Yeah, so Green Kenya is a community-based organization that uses sports as a tool to teach young people how to conserve the environment.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Why did you start this initiative?
Well, I used to play football, competitive football, and I just realized that I have so much between my ears and I need to share with the community.
Nice.
And I said that if I'll go there alone as David, it will not go far. So I said, okay, why not come up with a name that will, bring young people together and then work as a team. Mm-hmm. And that's how Green Kenya came up.
Okay.
It was actually brought up by a friend of mine called Charles. Mm-hmm. He used to be my teammate, and he said, I think we need to give this, the whole thing just Green Kenya, and that's how we did it.
Fantastic.
Just went for it.
Okay, looking at this conversation from a global perspective and where we are today, the world has certainly realized that we need to be a lot more conscious about how we are wasting, how we're recycling, what we're doing with our waste and those kind of things. Where are we in Kenya in terms of just being conscious of this before the plastic ban?
Well, I would say we're still lagging behind because we don't have people who teach us from the young age that, okay, you need to take this bag in this place, this is how you deposit it, and then just make sure that you keep your environment clean from the house, and that's why you see people, when they go with their cars, just eat a banana and throw outside the...
I shouted at someone the other day in traffic who did that. Yeah.
So I think we still need to do more and then teach our community that cleanliness has to start with you, where you are. Right. Don't look at the county and say, okay, the city is dirty, and what are you doing? What are you doing to make sure that that place is clean? And that's what we do in schools and in the community centers.
Okay. Looking at, of course, the fact that there's, I think, lack of education, especially, or sensitization, especially with young people. Why is it important that we sort of don't beg? And I know for a fact that even countries like Germany came to Kenya to study and research our environmental policies. And they went and they implemented a lot of what we had done and came up with in the 90s, and it worked perfectly. I think same thing we've done with issues like Singapore, I think, came in and took some of our plans. I mean, Kenyans are great and innovative and amazing. Why are we so bad at implementing?
I think we don't believe in ourselves. Like, I think you have an idea, but going outside there and say, okay, this is what I believe and it will work. Sticking to it to the extent that people start believing in what you're doing is what matters. you know, when these people come here, they have a plan. They say, okay, we're going to study this person or this thing and then go implement it. They don't want to know how it will work out, but they just know that, okay, they have the idea, and this is how we're going to take it from there. I think we are so much innovative. We have the ideas, but implementing it and believing in that it will work. Yeah. That is the problem.
That is the problem. Wangari Maathai lauded for her efforts in terms of saving the environment, tree planting, that kind of thing. I mean, Kenya is recognized globally for this movement. When it comes, of course, to young people and young people understanding why it's so important, but not just young people. When you go to the ground, when you go to people, especially who live in, let's say, for example, forest areas, what you'll find is it's not a priority for them. My priority is, it's cold, I need to cook for my family, I need to make sure that my family sleeps well. They're going to chop firewood. True. So regardless of how many times I'll go on Wangari Maathai and David tell them, hey, save the world, people are about the here and now. You know, how do you change that?
The best thing that I'll say that we need to do is the sensitization. You know, if you're told the importance of saving the environment and taking care of our forest while you're still young and just see the benefit of it, you'll be cautious. Okay. And I agree with you. There are places whereby there are no firewood and you need to cook and then we need to eat. I mean, at the end of the day, we need to eat. But what I think we need to do is there are trees that, you know, that some of them just fall down. You will not miss something to use as firewood. But don't chop that big tree that has been there for 20 or 50 years for just firewood. That tree can help you with water, can make sure that the soil is intact. Look at that in the long run, and then make sure that you protect that tree to the extent that you come up with alternative measures to make sure that we can eat, yes, but not through the firewood. Right. Like gas or something else.
Absolutely, renewable energy. I mean, there's so much we can do in terms of saving the environment. All right, David, when we come back, you'll tell us about your sports program and your Girl Initiative in just a second. Give him a hand, everybody. All right. And of course, we'll keep interacting with this great audience in just a bit, find out how they're conserving the environment, how they're doing their own little part. Homework, when we come back, y'all. Think. All right, we'll be right back after this. Fantastic. Today we're all about the environment and ensuring that we give you all the right information. And also, if you are someone who is very keen on taking care of your environment, your community, well, this is the show for you. You can partner up with people like David, right? So when you started Green Kenya and you decided to do this initiative, I'm sure it was a great idea, but the implementation, the actualization must have been something else. Take us through that.
Well, it was not easy. It wasn't easy. At some point, I felt like I'm doing this alone. Yeah. There was nobody to help. This idea was just in my mind, and actualizing it was a problem. But sticking into it, I just developed programs, and then talking to people and then friends that I had, said, okay, it is possible. It is possible. And so we started one school. I went to this school and then told the teacher, the head teacher, the idea, and he said, okay, come implement it. So the first week was good, the second week was good, but the third week, children were sent home for school fees. And we had to stop for a while, and everything just evaporated. I said, okay, can I do this? There are many times that I talked to myself. But with perseverance, we did it.
You did it. And somebody recognized your efforts well enough, someone from outside of Kenya, enough to say, you're doing a really good job and we want to partner with you. Tell us about looking for partners and eventually getting one at least.
We met with people called Global Giving. So Global Giving is an organization that, talks or identifies young people and organizations that are working in the community to better the lives of people who are living there. And so they came in and they told us to send our papers, our documents. By then, Green Kenya was 1 year old. So we didn't have a lot of papers, but they said, okay, send us what you have, and we will build it from there. And so through Global Giving, we're doing our online fundraising, and different people from different parts of in Europe are donating the little that they have towards our project. So at times, you might get someone donating like $5 or 10, and then after a while, maybe 3 or 4 months, it comes to us, and we use it to implement the program.
Fantastic. How costly is this kind of initiative, and where does that cost actually go?
Well, any idea, anybody will tell you that it is costly, because you have to print the forms that you're going to use to implement the session. Most of this money that we get goes to the program, because our programs run in 3 months.
Okay.
That is school period. We have sessions 2 times in a week, depending on the time that we're given by a school. That is during their physical education program. And so when you go to a school, we have a curriculum, a manual that we use. We plan sessions before we go to the school. And so we can say, okay, this month we're tackling just keeping our environment clean by collecting garbage in a fun way.
Right.
So we have to, go to the school, use transport, use airtime, and then just do a monitoring and evaluation. That's where all this cost is going at.
Okay.
Most of the time, you'll find that program cost is high, and times you don't have enough. So you have to make sure that, okay, you divide it in a way that you're not going to, lack totally, but you have something to make sure that at the end of the month, you can do monitoring and evaluation.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Girl App is something that you've also come up with. I love the innovation happening on today's show. Tell me about that.
Good. Just before we go to Gallup a bit, let me tell you about what happens after 3 months.
Okay.
We normally have an event called Kick and Conserve.
Okay.
So Kick and Conserve is a tournament that brings about, last time we had 8 schools.
Okay.
And the total number of participants were like 560. And both boys and girls. So when they come, they learn about environmental games, environmental discussion, and football. Okay. And when it comes to environmental discussion, we have experts who comes and talk about the environment and the importance of conserving it. And then we have games that we play to reinforce what they discuss, and then they play football. There's no team that can emerge the winner by just playing football. I know young people like playing football, especially boys. Yeah. And so you cannot emerge the winner by just make sure that you win on your goals.
Right.
You must, pass through these 3 different stages, and then you have volunteers who sign and make sure that, okay, we have, if 30 players, they sign and say, okay, they've passed here. And then at the end of the day, we will come up with a tally and say, okay, this is the number 1.
Okay. Good. Let's give our viewers a visual sense of what you've just said. For those who are like, Amisima, all right, it's so important that we get to see exactly how this is all implemented. Take a look at this, and we'll come back. We'll talk about Girl Up.
We use sports as a tool to reach out to young people. Here, we are trying to incorporate football and learn environmental activities. We've come to realize that there are those people who love environment and those who like football. And we want to merge these 2 things to make sure that, and as much as we play, we also know the importance of, planting trees, eating food in the normal consumption and not wasting it. We have 3 parts of the Kick and Conserve. So 1 is environmental discussion, environmental games, and soccer. So there's no team that will emerge the winner by just winning all the matches. At the end of the day, you will find that you will learn how to plant a tree. There's friendship too, and there's fun in all these aspects. These are the next generation, and they're going to travel from different places after their school life. One thing that we've done is that we've centralized this activity in schools, because this is where you can find many young people from different backgrounds. One of the main things that we want to do is the sensitization of the environmental degradation and how we contribute to the whole thing. And if you want to get the agent or the main people to make the difference, it's the young people. Because the moment they play these games, when they go home, they will say, today we learned about how to conserve the environment, how to plant a tree, how to eat food in the normal quantity and not to waste, how to share. So the literature is there basically to help them think about the environment.
Yes, indeed. Of course, today we are all about innovation, and especially innovation that helps the planet. Thank you for all your efforts.
Thank you.
You took an idea, and when you could have given up, you didn't. And I love that. I love that about your idea. Looking at, of course, that initiative and looking at other initiatives that have come from this idea, like Girl Up, tell us about that.
Good. So Girl Up came up as an idea when I visited Marsabit to do a voluntary work with a partner organization called Coaches Across Continent. And what
called?
Coaches Across Continent.
Okay.
And when we went there, we wanted to use sports as a tool to teach young people how to, work with women, include women in decision making, taking up a leadership role in the community.
Okay.
And what I realized after a week is that I will see men walking in front and girls walking behind.
Really?
18 and above. And I'm like, what's happening? So they told me, okay, we will tell you this when we reach in our house.
Yeah.
So I was curious to know why. And they told me that here, women are not allowed to walk with men closely. And I'm like, in Nairobi, I don't see this kind of thing.
Of course not. In Nairobi, Kwanzaa, please.
So we sat down and I was very much interested to know what is really happening. And they gave me the story and I was really touched. So when I came back after 3 weeks, I said...
Why aren't they allowed, David?
The idea was that if you walk near a man and they're not your husband, then maybe it seems like you two are together, right, or you're trying to...
Promiscuous,
something like that, which was not...
It's a form of branding or stereotyping you when you do that.
Yeah.
Okay.
And when I came back, I said, okay, I must do something for the girls. It is not happening that much here in Nairobi. You don't see it, but somewhere other girls are going through trauma and then they're not taken as people,
right,
just like boys. So when I came, I said, okay, I have the games. I don't have the name yet, but I want to do something. So I went to the same school that I was telling you about. It's called Splash in Shorimoyo.
Okay.
And I told the head teacher, okay, I have something here and I think it can help the girls. And the teacher was very, very much receptive. He said, okay, here's a school. Just make sure that you have a female teacher to follow up what's happening. I said, fine, because what I need is participants. Mm-hmm. So we called them in one place. I told them the idea, and when they were standing to just say their names, they were like scratching down with their legs and not keeping eye contact. Mm. And that was my first mission. So when I brought them together, I said, okay, I want us to be practicing just 45 minutes in a week. And then with these games that I got from Coaches Across Continent, gave them a voice to speak up, to be bold, and just to speak up their mind.
Okay.
And that's how Girl Up came up. So one day in the morning, I said, okay, I need a name for this club. And
is it up as UP?
Yes.
Girl Up.
In Swahili,
yeah.
Wasichana Juu.
Yeah.
So I just translated that into English, and Girls Up came up.
Fantastic.
So Girl Up has reached around 300 girls in 5 schools,
okay,
in Shorimoyo, okay, Buruburu, and how do you call this? Bahati.
Okay.
And we've seen girls coming up, making decisions. And now when you tell them to, if you take a girl who has been in Girl Up and just a normal boy and just tell them to have a conversation, you'll see the difference. Initially, that wasn't there. They're just on the same level. And then now, even the boys are asking me, why you always do this program and you're forgetting about us? So from next year, we'll have also a program for boys. Okay. And then it will start with football, because I know they like football. And then after, we take them to the real idea.
Fantastic. What are you looking for, David, in terms of growing this initiative and partnerships?
Good. You cannot do this alone. And what we're looking for is partnerships, and then people who can come and support this idea, because now it's no longer my idea, it's the idea of the community. And we need people who can come and say, okay, we will support, maybe, for example, these girls, and then get more information.
Okay.
And people can say, okay, I will make sure that when it comes to kick and conserve, we have trees that we can plant.
Okay.
We have these coaches going to the schools without any difficulties. Okay. And with this, we're going to have a good Kenya, a green Kenya, and female and girls who are empowered.
Fantastic. Give it up for David, everybody. You're so great.
Thank you.
Oh, you're so great. I hope you become Minister of Environment one day. CS, rather. Cabinet Secretary.
Let me tell you, my friends have been telling me to go into politics, and no.
Go into the structure. Go into the ministry, because that I think you will do very well. Someone in NEMA should be watching this, I hope.
Thank you.
Asante sana for being here.
You're
we will go, of course, ahead and connect you guys to David on our social media platforms. Please go ahead and connect to these young people who are really working hard, innovating, coming up with new ideas to put this country on the global map for all the right reasons. Let me tell you this, SDGs, they're here. If you guys are still thinking MDGs, that's a thing of the past, right?
True.
We are in the Sustainable Development Goals. And as a country, we have set them, and it takes all of us to participate and become part of these great initiatives. It takes funding, it takes sponsoring, it takes partnerships. Let us not let these young people ideas just kind of go and die. No, we have to keep supporting these kind of ideas. Asante sana kwa kuwapa.
Thank you very much.
Asante.